Hi, my name is Nicole Potter, and just a brief overview on what I'm going to be doing. I'm teaching mathematics for grade levels 9 through 10, maybe 11 depending on their math skills. The content is going to be creating equations. The content area standard is Math Content HSA CED A1, creating equations and inequalities in one variable and using them to solve problems, including equations arising from linear and quadratic functions and simple rational and exponential functions. The student learning objectives: at the end of this lesson, students will be able to successfully create equations and inequalities with one variable and use them to solve problems. Some content, vocabulary, and concepts that need to be known prior to is multiply, divide, add, subtract, integer, more than, less than, times, twice a number, quotient, product, sum, difference, and ratio. And my lesson strategy that I'll be presenting is on semantic mapping. Good morning, class. Today we are going to work on creating equations from a word problem in order to help us solve them. But first, let's develop a semantic map, which is a kind of a guide that we're going to use in order to help us remember some of the mathematical terms and what functions they go with. So everybody take out your piece of paper and separate them into 4 equal squares. Kind of like this on the board. Okay, label your 4 squares: add, subtract, multiply, and divide. Next, you're going to work by yourself or with one partner, and you're going to identify different terms that can be used for add, subtract, multiply, and divide. For example, for adding, what about more than? If you see more than in a sentence, you know that you're going to be adding. So you're going to put that under your add box. For example, if they tell you 8 times a number, you know that you're going to be multiplying, because multiplying times means multiplying. So everybody complete your 4 squares for your semantic mapping, and we'll come back together and share what we've discovered. So we've had about 20 minutes to come up with some terms that are associated with the 4 mathematical functions. Let's look at some of the ones that we've shared with the class. For addition, we have more than, how many more. For subtraction, we have less than, take away, and difference. For multiply, we have times or double. For divide, we have among, or how many for each. You guys can use your semantic mapping during your next activity, where we're going to practice reading some math problems and coming up with some equations to solve them. Students will develop a semantic map identifying alternative words or phrases for the following terms: add, subtract, multiply, and divide. Students will create 4 boxes on a piece of paper. The students will label the 4 boxes: add, subtract, multiply, and divide. Next, students will use the 4 square map they created and identify the different terms associated with each square. For example, more than would be listed in the add box, and times would be listed under the multiply box. This will help students associate different terms with the correct mathematical function while reading word problems.